Hello guys. I just wanted to show you the progress I've made on my plaster sculpture. Um, so I decided to start another one. I'm basing it off of this skull here. I've decided to kind of prop it with the jaw kind of wide open just to give it a little bit more of an interesting, um, a little bit more to look at. When thinking about forms, there's more open space, more negative space to work with than just the simple skull as you typically see it with the jaw shut. So I'm basing my sculpture off of that. I've done my sketches. I've kind of tried to simplify the positive and negative forms. And so I've started to carve into my plaster blank. So at this point, it still looks very much like it looks like I'm trying to make a skull. But I'm just kind of starting out with the general shape, and I'm trying to make it look less like the yogurt container and starting to pick out the negative spaces that I want to emphasize. I did want to point out to you, I'm using generally the metal rib that I talked about, this modeling tool, and a butter knife. Work all really well, especially when it's this wet. And that's what I actually kind of wanted to mention to you guys is at this point, this is still really wet. When I carve it, it's like wet sand. So I started carving out some of these holes, and it's starting to come off. Like when I carve it, more comes off than I intend to, especially inside. It still contains a lot of water. So I'm gonna, at this point, after I've cut out some of the negative space, I'm gonna let it sit and air out a little bit, dry out before I keep carving, so that more of it doesn't start to kind of crumble away before I'm ready for it to go away. So just want to give you a little bit of an update on the process. Again, I'm going to come back and keep carving away at it, looking for new ways to look at it, looking at it from all sides. That's the other thing, is when you do your sketches, make sure you're looking at the object that you are abstracting if you're doing abstraction. Make sure you're looking at it from all sides. Maybe there's a side of the object that you are abstracting that is more interesting than you initially thought. So make sure you're looking at it from all sides. And then while you're working on your sculpture, you are also looking at it from all sides while you're working on it. But again, at this point, it's still really wet. I'm just going to let this air out a little bit before I come back to it. So take your time with it. Start carving, dig out some of the major negative spaces that you're looking at, maybe some general shaping of your piece, and then let it air dry a little bit more, and come back to it to do more carving. So you're going to have to kind of gauge what's working well for you and what's not, if you need to give it more time and not overwork it to the point where it starts to crumble on you. Okay, so I just wanted to give you that little tidbit of information so that while you're working on it, if it looks like it's really wet and you're struggling with it, understand that's just part of the process. You can just let it air dry a little while and then continue carving. Okay, so good luck.